Welcome to the stream. It's Johnny Fiasco. I'm here with Scott Reed, the master of DAO Zaster, and I'm coming with you today with two of the marketing team from Magnet DAO. Say hello to Rev. Say hello to MB86.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, guys?
Hey guys,
Okay.
thanks for joining us.
No problem. It's great to be here with you guys to get to put your project in front of our people and see what they think of you. The first question is just a very general question that I want you guys to have at. What is your project, man? Tell us what your vision is. What is the project? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I can start, Rev, and obviously take it wherever you want from where I go. From a high level, Magnet DAO really aims to be the evolution of the reserve currency protocol. Our DAO will use its protocol controlled value to reward its token holders with exceptional yields, as some of the others have done. But at the same time, we'll use our treasury reserve to invest and incubate in innovative projects.
Yeah, so you've got 10% of our treasury is going to be going towards early crypto projects, assets, partnering on mostly Avalanche from the start. And when you've got that early access, kind of like a venture capitalist pre-sale scenario almost, you've got this chance for 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times growth. So I think that's really the big thing for us is we're going to be attracting in capital out of tons of places and supporting really cool projects early on and having access to that. And our folks that have that token will get access to that profit.
Excellent. So basically, you see yourselves as a reserve currency similar to a lot of the other DAOs that are out there, but your angle is that instead of letting your combined wealth of the project sit there and kind of lose value, you're going to actually use it to become a venture capital firm in exciting new technology. Is that the angle I'm getting from you guys?
Yeah, exactly. And innovation fund, making sure that some kind of the best projects out there are getting some support early on, or we're bringing them in-house to incubate with us. Working with our team, who's done some really unique launch stuff, has developed some bots, that obviously have this project, going to get it under our belts. Working with us as well, and marketing and our community to make sure that they have the support they need to get success. And it's kind of like a Y Combinator for crypto.
Yeah, I mean, like to Rev's point, the vision of Magnet DAO really is, to be the next stage of the tried and tested reserve currency model. We really are planning to build a sufficient treasury, which is very important for the protocol. But what's just as important as that is the portfolio management of that treasury. So we're hyper focused on putting the treasury to use to generate return, including building, incubating, investing, into these early projects that Rev kind of talked about. And looking for that big upside to put the power back into, the average investor's hands, into our community members, really.
Perfect. So you've talked so far about the team and you've talked about your vision of investing. I believe it's 10% that you said that would go into this VC for investing in newer projects, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. And then there's some talk about working with our community to make sure that whatever the remaining treasury is, if we can use that safely and effectively to produce some income, how can we do that? We want to make sure that we're doing that. Obviously, it's a reserve currency. We want to do that safely. But you've seen other projects start to deploy their assets for farming, and I think that's something that's really interesting. We can consider to create even more income and just do it passively. And something like Aave or somewhere else, BenQ on Avalanche, I think that'd be really interesting to get out there.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I like that as well. I think one of the marks of the reserve currency idea is trying to get away from dollar pegged stables, and yet it seems like a lot of times most of the treasuries of our DAOs are sitting in dollar pegged stables, which are getting absolutely killed by inflation as we speak. So I think that is also something that DAOs such as yourself seem to have realized, that you're going to have to combat that inflation and you need to be generating yield off of all those stables. So I think that's great, guys. I think that's an awesome angle. Can you tell us a little bit about your team? You two are on the marketing side of things. So what else do you got for us? Who are your leads? What have they done? Can you go ahead and describe your team a little bit for everyone?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Rev and I are from the marketing side. There's two other marketers on there that are not on here right now. There's Dex, who is our leader, and he's the founder of the project. From there, there's six other expert devs on the front end and the back end. Be honest, coding a little over my head. I know a lot of them are Solidity expert devs, and they've really just done a great job. All the feedback we've received, is the site, the slash app is just really clean. The UI is great. So there's really just a lot of talented people on our team, and they've just done great things, and the community is really appreciative of what they've done. We use the DApp for a community offering, and obviously it's biased, but it went off flawless, and the community has let us know that, and that's all hands off to the dev team.
Yeah, I think we just did a meet the team in our Discord event where everybody just kind of introduced themselves. Super excited to see that, because I just came on the team within the last 2 weeks, and reading their backgrounds, it was pretty awesome. We've got folks that have been actually in crypto VC background. We've got folks that have been in investment. We've got folks that are engineering, software engineering. We've got folks that have done front end full time. We've got an artist in-house. We really have a super, what I would say is a robust team for ourselves, and I think the capacity to help other teams as well. And then the other cool thing that I've loved about Magnet is, we've got the team and we've built that, but we've built this community that we asked for help for peer review of our contracts, and we've got a Solidity dev that's leading the charge, Plato, working on that with the community actually. And we've got a ton of offers from other Solidity devs of different qualities, and obviously that work is going to be reviewed by our team internally. But we're getting this huge inpush of, hey, I want to help too, which is really awesome to see that we've got this great core team, and then we've got a phenomenal community, and really the background inside that core team to do what we're trying to do. I think it's great.
That's amazing, guys. It's really great that you have a very diversified team, and that you have, just a really well-rounded vision for the project, and you have the people behind the vision to support it. I think we see that a lot. We'll talk to a project, and they have a huge vision, and then when you talk to the team, it's like, yeah, but who are the people that are going to get you to the vision? So it's really wonderful to see that you all have addressed that. I know this is early. I know we're still pre-launch. We're in the development phase. Do you have any partnerships that you've announced yet, or that you could tell our people about? If no, it's a simple yes or no. But a lot of times we like to ask if there's any partnerships, or any partnerships you'd like to pursue in the future that you could let us know about.
Yeah, so as far as partnerships, you're right. It's early. We are in talks with folks like Yeti Finance on Avalanche. We're trying to figure out, they're an early project. We're an early project. I'm really excited about that their product is going to be doing with leveraging and a stablecoin there. We're trying to work with them on something pretty special. We just announced with Artemis, for some cross-chain stuff early on. They're a smaller project as well. We're working with Trader Joe to try and get some special stuff there. We'll see how that goes. We've got a good relationship with their team already. So there's some fun stuff. Nothing firmly committed. It is early, like we said, but I think we're in the works for some pretty great partnerships. You've got Justin on our team. He's a big connector. If you ever get on the Discord, you can see that he's got some great connections. And then obviously with our folks that have background in investment and crypto VC, like they've got the partnerships, and they're working those the way that they can while still remaining doxed. But I'm excited for it. We've got a lot of builders and connectors on our team, and some pretty cool early on conversations happening. Some that I can't even talk about, but with very heavy Avalanche presence. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, well said. And Johnny, to your point from earlier, is just to kind of reiterate what Rev was saying is kind of to the point of, this innovation fund is really, a crypto venture fund, right? So it does play that, to Rev's point, we have the members on our team that are VC crypto, in real life, for lack of a better term. We have people on our team that have partaken in capital raises. So, we do feel that we have the people and the team members to execute on this goal, and really think that we're going to do a great job of it, giving back to the community who supported us from the beginning.
Excellent, fellas. Excellent. So we're going to move on to a area that I always like to focus on with a DAO, and I think the people love to hear about it too, and that's tokenomics. Can you tell us a little bit about the tokenomics of your project? Honestly, I feel like sometimes tokenomics are like reading the tea leaves. You can almost see the future of a product by what the math looks like. Can you tell us what your supply is going to be at launch, what your plans are going to be? I know you don't have an APY nailed down. Can you tell us though some type of roadmap, if you have one, going into the future about what your token supply would be, if there's ever going to be a token supply cap, any types of details like that might help our viewers?
Yeah, sure. I can give you the tokenomics. We released this in a recent medium. So that the total supply is going to be 10 million mag, broken down as following. So 40% will go to the fair launch to build the treasury. 20% was from our community offering that was in the beginning of the month. 20% will be team tokens, which are locked, invested linearly over a year. 10% will go to providing liquidity. 9.5% will go to marketing and partnerships. And then 0.5% will go to our airdrops.
Excellent. So you're going to have a 10 million initial token supply. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then is there any cap that you know of, or are we infinitely scalable?
That I don't know. I think it's capped at 10 million is what I'm pretty certain of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So we've got this community launch that happened with, I believe it was 20%, and then we're gonna have this fair launch with 40%, and then the remainder, I believe, is gonna, I think we're looking at that cap from then on.
Sure. I guess what I'm saying is, for instance, you're going to be a rebasing token, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So as let's say we're going to have 10 million tokens after the fair launch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then we're going to have rebasing, which is going to add tokens to the 10 million, correct?
Yeah. I see what you're after. Yeah, I think that's correct. I think, I don't think we said there's going to be, a point where the rebase stops happening.
I guess that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how, people can buy token once the 10 million is launched and you're live, your initial supply is 10 million. People can buy new tokens and they'll earn new tokens by staking, bonding, etc. Correct?
Yep. Correct.
And then they'll be able to rebase into the future, which will increase the token supply. I guess I was just getting at, do you know if there's any type of max token supply that you've ever anticipated, or is it infinitely scalable?
I don't think we've identified anything like that. I think we probably need to get the community involved at that point. I'm not even sure if Ohm has kind of landed where they're going to fall on that. I know at some point they want to stop rebasing and just become that reserve currency, but I think that's one of those things that we're all still trying to figure out. But I don't think we've landed on, hey, we're going to stop rebasing at some point.
Excellent. Perfect. Yeah, I think like in OHM, for instance, you see they have a roadmap. They scale down their APY. The rebasing comes down, and I think the plan for the long like 5-year future is somewhere around like 3%. So perfect. We'll keep an eye on that in the future as we continue to watch you guys and watch the project grow. The next area of concern after tokenomics that we see a lot of people want to know about is doxing. I'm sure that you all have seen all the amazing amount of rug pulls that happen in some of these new DAOs, and some bigger ones, quite frankly, that you wouldn't even expect to rug pull. Are you all going to dox anyone? What are your plans to assure the community that you're in this for the long term and you have their best interests at heart?
Yeah. So right now, as it stands, I don't think there's any immediate plans to dox. Some of us are doxed amongst each other on the team. As Rev kind of went into it, there are some of us that are involved in crypto in real life. And, right now it makes sense to keep those paths separated, so to speak. So what we're looking at is there will be a multi-sig wallet. There will be core team members on there, but there will be 2 outside advisors, public figures that will be named prior to the launch. So it would work in a sense that I don't know the exact numbers, but let's just say it would work that there is 6, let's just say 6 people on there, and we need 5, right? So obviously the core team couldn't just rug, right? I mean, there has to be an outsider that is known to the public. So, you know, we're trying to find, we're working on it. We have a couple names that we're going to obviously we're going to identify before launch. And these, again, are people that are, you know, the communities are comfortable with, they trust. So we feel that as a way to, you know, protect the community in terms of, you know, rug pull, as well as, you know, the multi-sig wallet has a daily withdrawal limit of 1,000 AVAX. You know, just some more added protection, you know, to make the community feel more comfortable.
Excellent, man. That's perfect. So when we talk about the initial token supply, a lot of the concern that I see lately is it seems like sometimes, you know, people pick up the token for $10, $15, and then at launch the token bumps up to $45, $50, $100, whatever it is, and there's a lot of dumping that occurs. What is your feeling on that? I know there's no necessarily way to stop that from occurring, but what's your feeling from the community? Can you tell us a little bit about plans to address that issue?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Something that for me, you know, I've been in these launches where early on you're getting it, you're getting the 10 times. But I've also been in those launches where I'm late and I didn't realize I was late, and there was a whitelist, and man, that's gone all of a sudden. And I really want to avoid that for our community, and we know that the community wants to avoid that as well. We kind of talked to them about our launch. We've got a core group of community members that we actually just kind of use as an alpha team of like, hey, what does this sound like to you? So we've been talking about our launch. Starting price for the community, the earliest sale was 80 cents per meg. We do not want to see that, you know, more than 5 times for this sale, the fair launch. So we're going to cap some contributions. We're going to make sure that there's a cap actually on the total raise in the first launch. Details are coming on what that exact cap is, but we want to make sure that, you know, we're not raising so much that that liquidity gets added to Trader Joe, and all of a sudden, after, you know, an hour or 2, things start dumping. The next thing that we're doing is we're looking at vesting for the whole pre-sale, the fair launch that's coming up. We're looking at probably a 7-day vesting period to make sure, okay, yeah, you can get it out, and you can, if you want to sell early on, you can, but you're not going to be able to dump on everybody. And then
I think that would be very smart to do. I think that will show the community some warm and cozy feeling.
So we've introduced it to that core group, and we started to kind of leak that out to the rest of the community, and they've really loved it so far. You know, and there was no promises on the early sale on how this whole thing will go. I want to make sure that people that got on early feel respected and know that they're going to get some value. I also want to make sure that long-term people find value in Meg, and I don't think Meg was created to do a pump and dump early on. So I'm really hesitant to see that. So that's why we're putting those things in place. We're also going to see a wallet cap to make sure, you know, we're going to make it a little hard for whales to own 10-20% of the initial sale. I don't want to see that. That would be kind of, I think, a tragedy for a community that has 21,000 people in our Discord, almost 10,000 people on Twitter. Like, we want to make sure that the contributions are reasonable, nobody gets dumped on, and we have this long-term success instead of something that early on just fails flat on its face because of the launch. You know, people just dumping on us. No thanks.
Sure. So let me ask a question real quick, and this is something that as I did research into your DAO, I noticed that I did really like. Am I correct in understanding that you all are going to use a rebase hopping prevention mechanic? For those of you that don't know what rebase hopping is, in a downtrend on a DAO, it's where you buy in before the rebase, you catch the rebase, you sell the rebase, and then you sidestep the loss in the downtrend and buy back in before the next rebase. Full disclosure, I frequently do this with time and have made some significant money doing so. So I am also guilty of this activity, but I also understand that people who are not doing it tend to lose a lot of money against people who are doing it. Do you have a rebase hopping anti-rebase hopping mechanic that you're going to use in this project?
Yeah, so I think in this case, what we've got is a warm-up period of 2 epochs we've been talking about. So you stake it, you're going to have to wait at least 2 of those rebasings to unstake and sell off. I believe that's what we've kind of settled on. That'll be in the launch, that'll be in the staking and bondings on the 29th. We'll make sure that by that point, when it's live, it's really known. But yeah, we want to make sure that folks aren't taking advantage of that rebase. I think that's one of the core problems that you've identified with Time or OHM. Like, folks are just, OHM, it's a little less serious now, with the Ethereum gas fees, things like that. But almost all of these rebase projects have that problem. I even know folks that move to the next project in between rebases, buy up, rebase, move to the next one, buy up, rebase. It's like, I don't want people like that in this project. I want long-term folks who, and obviously you're going to have people that are joining in just to join in, make some profit. And that's how bonds work, how treasury builds up. Like, there's short-term thought, but we need to be a little more long-term, and we're trying to emphasize that, make sure that there are things in place to make that happen for our whole community.
And for full disclosure, I want everyone to understand that I am not criticizing the trading of cryptocurrency, right? Trading is legitimate. Rebase hopping is legitimate. It's allowed by the protocols. There's nothing in there that says you can't do it. And the protocol does earn LP fees from you doing that. So the protocol is making money for the treasury. I just think we all understand that if too much of the population starts to engage in that, it absolutely kills the DAO. And I'm going to point to another DAO which recently has taken a real hard turn, and that was Midas DAO. I know they have the same anti-rebase mechanic that you did, but getting back to the whales buying in before launch, I was in their Discord, and essentially they've said that they basically had some rogue whale activity where a bunch of people with absolutely huge bags were able to sell out, and it just absolutely destroyed the price. And I hope that the community can come back, but at this point I think that's something that new projects would like to avoid. So that's what I'm hearing from you. You understand this danger of whales and of the kind of the rebase hopping mechanic, and you have things in place that you're going to try to address that with.
Yeah, absolutely. For our pre-sale, we had, I think the average contribution was something like $500. And I would love to see that happen again in this next sale. We're going to have a much bigger cap, obviously, and I think we're going to reach it pretty quickly. But if we had thousands of people contributing and able to join in here, I think that would be an awesome result. So watch out, whales.
Right.
No, actually, please get our max cap.
Right. I mean, and going back to the point of the beginning, and that's really, why we try to do the community offering, allocating as much as we could throughout the community, because these are all the people that were here from the beginning, and, these are all the people that believe in it. So we felt if we could get, our your so-called whitelist, as we refer to as community offering, allocated as far as you can into the community, we feel it prevents price dumping.
And I agree with you guys. And I also want everyone to understand that I am not denigrating whales. Whales are absolutely essential to the ecosystem. You want smart, big money buying your project, right? That's a lifeblood of the project in a lot of terms. But at the same point, we need to be responsible to the people that don't have that bag size, so that there's room for everyone to play. And I really like that you guys are focusing on that and addressing it. So, props to you guys. I'm going to move on to the next area of concern. For a lot of, actually, it's not an area of concern. It's something that we're looking at with all current DAO forks and all current ring forks. What's your plan for sustainability in the future? We've talked about your venture capital idea. Most DAOs at this point that I research, it seems like they have very little in the way of a plan to bring in outside income. Can you tell me what you guys are thinking in that angle?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's 2 ways. I'll go into a little bit more of the VC, and I think Rev can touch on a point right after. So as you mentioned, our plan for revenue is using the 10% of our treasury, investing in and creating early stage protocols. As we were kind of going into we have team members that have crypto VC experience. We have team members that have capital raise experience. We have team members that have marketing experience. We have team members that have Solidity dev experience. So couple all that together, that really creates our innovation fund. So we can build and invest in these early stage protocols in-house. And, all of us realize what these protocols can do if successful. And, we feel that with 10%, obviously it's naive to think every one of them is going to be successful, right? So, there will be some portfolio balancing, some high risk, some low risk, but, they're all early stage protocols, and, we feel that these could, have massive growth. And just for that little bit of exposure, that's how we feel we can contribute revenue to the project.
Yeah, and I think there's two other factors I mentioned early on. We're going to have a treasury balance, 90% of it that we, it's going to be MIM and AVAX early on, and I don't want to see that just sitting there. If we can safely deploy that, with the community and making sure that the multi-sig is secure and we're doing this the right way, I think we can get some income from that. If it's 10%, if it's 20%, I also think further on down the line, I'd love to work with the community on, hey, we'd love to do some projects that they're big, they're well known, they're farming for USD AVAX or something like that. Out there, maybe we can get some Joe into the treasury. Maybe we can start to look at cross chain, like using the Anchor protocol or something like that. What does that look like to use that treasury in a way? We know it's going to, we can deploy it safely. If we can get it back in the case of an emergency, if we got those systems in place, what does that look like to make a much bigger income than a lot of the treasuries out there? And then the other thing for sustainability is, we're not going to have a massive APY. It's not sustainable. That is a great way to get your token out there in large numbers and have some big wallets with huge number of tokens, but that's not sustainable. Like we said, we've talked about earlier, that ends up with rebase hopping. It ends up with all sorts of things that it's just not going to work long term. So that APY, it's going to be good, it's going to be respectable, but it's not going to be something that's like off the charts. Can't read it on a 32-inch monitor. It's going to be something that is reasonable.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great point, Rev. A lot of these, these forks just aren't sustainable because of that high APY, and then it just, they just continue to slowly slide down, and everybody's confused why. And it's just because, great example is you can't read it on a 32-inch screen because there's so many zeros there, which is it's just not healthy.
The other thing, I've been able to listen in some, internal conversations. We're reaching out to folks that have worked on different rebase projects, and we're saying, hey, what was your bonding mechanism like? I think I really liked how you did this. We've got some own folks that we've actually reached out to, and they're just talking to us about, what does it look like to do this well and sustainably? And we're trying to think through, do we need to diversify our bonds? Do we need to, change the rates more dynamically, et cetera, et cetera? So we've got some good internal conversations about that as well, to make sure that long term we can keep this going.
Sounds great, guys. I think I've covered most of what people want to hear initially. There's a lot of other questions that we could ask. There's a lot of deeper dives that we could do into tokenomics, into the plans for the VC. But at this early stage, I think we're going to need to watch your project, and we'll ask those questions as it matures. We're going to keep up with you guys. I'd love to have you back for continued AMAs, maybe every month or every couple weeks, so that you can keep telling the community how you're maturing, how the project is going, and we can keep in touch in that aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we would be more than open to doing that. As some people may know, we're launching on 12/27 at 5 p.m. UTC. We should have a very detailed medium coming out in the next couple of days that will go through all the steps of that launch. Then on 12/29, the protocol will go live, allowing bonding and staking from there.
Excellent. Gentlemen, any last thoughts that you'd like to leave our community with? Anything that you feel like you'd like to address that I haven't gotten to?
No, I really appreciate you, Johnny and Scott, having us on. Thanks to the community. Thanks to those of you that are, actively participating and building things with crypto. this future, and we get to make it what we want. So I'm really excited to just work with all of you, and WAGMI.
Absolutely. Guys, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we appreciate your community, wanting you guys to take the time and have us on. And, we look forward to coming back.
Excellent, gentlemen. We look forward to having you. One last thought that I want to leave everyone with before we leave. Just like in every video that Cryptonaires produces and every project that we want to talk to you about, we want everyone listening to understand that no one up here is giving you any type of financial advice. We're not capable of doing so, and we wouldn't have any interest in doing so. What we're bringing to you is the information on new and upcoming projects, and we want you to be able to take the information that we're giving you and make sound decisions for yourself. We want you to determine your own risk tolerance. DeFi is a very new space. I want everyone listening to understand that loss doesn't just happen in a rug pull. It can happen in general market conditions. It can happen in one of 100 ways that no one on this stage can anticipate. And I want us all to make it together. So please, don't put your rent money into DeFi. Everyone up here agree?
Absolutely. Only put in what you can lose.
And always DYOR.
Exactly, fellas. All right, I want to thank you all so much for your time. This has been a great talk, and we will have you gentlemen back in the future.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
All right. All you Cryptonaires, stay safe out there. We'll bring this to you as soon as possible. Johnny Fiasco, Scott Reed, out.